Okay, welcome to the video on Ctenophores, or comb bearers. That's the phylum name, Ctenophora, the common name, comb bearers, or comb jellies, or sometimes sea gooseberries. They've got a lot of different varieties in size and shape. Most of them, though, are planktonic filter feeders. There's an old drawing on the left that shows lots of different styles of Ctenophores, but what you're mostly going to see are the ones on the right, these little capsules with beautiful rainbow-colored cilia. This one is another shape, Cestus veneris, known as a Venus's girdle. Okay, and that's one of the ribbon Ctenophores. And here is another version of the ribbon Ctenophore. You'll often see these as you're waiting on a safety stop or and hanging around in the water column, watching the plankton drift by at the end of a dive. They can get up to a meter to a meter and a half in length, but generally will be 8 to 10 centimeters. This is one with a set of tentacles trailing behind. Some of them have tentacles, some of them don't. And here is an odd specimen. It's unknown what species it is. It was caught in a light trap near Heron Island in Australia, and it exhibits another type of symmetry that we haven't seen before, which is called biradial. It looks a bit like a dumbbell, and you can see the two radially symmetrical ends of this attached by the stalk. That's an interesting type of symmetry. And this guy is a little bit of an exception. Plenty Polytechnic is the name of it. It's a benthic comb jelly, and at first glance you would assume this to be a flatworm because it is fairly thin and will be sort of ghosting along the surface. They tend to be nocturnal. They have two pores for stinging tentacles, and you can see the tentacles coming out of one of the pores, which will distinguish them from the platyhelminthes. They're often found on soft corals, and only a few species are known, but there are probably quite a few to be discovered. And here's another view of a benthic ctenophore on a coral, and you can see how easily it could be mistaken for a flatworm. But it's going to be a bit bigger than a flatworm generally. Another one where you can see the two lobes sticking out where the tentacles will come out, so that much more apparent. Okay, so they are either radially symmetrical or biradially symmetrical. We're talking about the general characteristics now for comb jellies. They have 8 rows of cilia, and those are also known as combs, covering the body mass, which will usually be a sort of a capsule shape. And they are the largest animals on the planet that swim by using cilia. So this is another ciliated surface. We've seen quite a few ciliated surfaces. See if you can stop the video and go back and review all the ciliated surfaces you've seen this term. And these ones are the largest that use them for propulsion. So the combs, or the cilia, beat in sequence to drive the animal through the water, and that when they drive through the water, they either filter feed water that is driven through the body as they move, or they may have tentacles which don't have cnidocytes, they're not cnidarians, but they do catch prey with more by sticking to that prey. And those little sticky centers are called colloblasts, which drip off of the tentacles. And then once they have caught enough tentacle or enough prey on their tentacles, they bring the tentacle to the mouth and wipe them clean. The URL here is one, or if you type in Ctenophore or comb jelly into YouTube, you'll be able to see the beating of the cilia. They lack tentacle. Some species which lack tentacles feed, as we said before, by drawing water in, and not only water, but they can actually engulf quite large organisms sometimes. They have a nerve net, okay, and the statolith, which we talked about in jellyfish, which will help orient them in the water column, so they know which way is up and down, and so they can move up and down with the in the water column, but they are still planktonic. They can't move independently of currents. And you can see the little diagram of the statolith, where the lith or rock that is inside the little cyst, the statocyst, impacts those little nerve ending hair cells, which tell the nerve net which direction to move. In terms of reproduction, they broadcast spawn, and they're mostly hermaphrodites. So they are either male or female, generally. Okay, or sorry, they are either both male and female generally, but when they are separate species, they are usually male when young and female later in life. And two classes, they're the Tentaculata and the Nuda. So see if you can guess what the difference is. And if you can't guess it, the ones that are Tentaculata have tentacles,